Hey everybody, welcome again to this new class. We are going to work a little bit on the legs. We are going also to work in the pelvic zone, and this is going to be an introduction to the sitting positions as well. So I wish you a good practice, and also I have to remind you, if you want to evolve in yoga and also in just posture in everyday life, just try to follow the videos. I'm going to make progressive videos, so subscribe and push the little bell to have your notifications and the new videos. So I'm not losing any more time. I'm going to start now, and I hope you have already done the exercises with the ball and the inclined plane. Try to do them every time before you start your practice. So we start. So I did already the ball and the inclined plane, and we are going to work a little bit for the triangle, not the triangle, the tree posture. So stand on your heels. Stand on your heels. Try to just let your center of the mass find its center, find its place between the two heels. You can put your hands palms towards you and fingers towards the ceiling on your pelvic bones, just to stretch a little bit your forearms and your hands, and try to find a little bit of balance between your two heels. Try to feel in which heel you have more of your weight. Try to connect the heels to the crown of your head. Feel what's happening in your hips. Try to align your heels, your hips, and your shoulders. And just find where balance is bringing you. Always trying to feel the connection between the heels and the crown of your head. Feel what's happening with your breathing as well. Do you need to use all the upper part of the body, or do you just need to use your transverse abdominal? And then we are going to start with balance, so we have to push ourselves from one heel to the other. I push myself towards my left heel, and I will push the left big toe on the floor. Once I see that my pelvis is in the middle of my axis of the foot, then it means all my weight is on this foot. And I see that the other leg doesn't have any other weight to carry, so I can just grab my leg really high on my knee to prepare Vrksasana, and also I can grab the shin bone and put the heel in the inside of my leg, and the form of the hip will keep a balance between the two legs. And now all the weight of my right leg, will just bring more space in my left hip by pushing my hip towards the left. And I keep my hands in this same position. So this will activate your legs, but it also opens the hip. So it's very interesting to do for many people who have problems with the hips. I think here I know many people that need to work with the hips, to free the hips. And you can also bring your hands both sides, palms up. Try to keep your palms up and your elbows down. And try to connect your heel with the crown of your head. Keep your pelvis facing front and horizontal. And you stay there. If you want to make it a little more difficult for your balance, you can try to look in different sides. Change where are you looking at. If not, it's just alright to try to keep all your weight in the heel and feel if you need to push your big toe on the floor, less or more, to stabilize your ankle. And you stay there. Stay on your heel. Try to just extend your knee by pushing your heel on the floor. Try to bring the crown of the head higher by pushing the heel on the floor. If you don't have any balance, you can use a chair or the wall to hold yourself so you don't fall. Here I can use the wall, for example. Let your shoulders come down. Once you feel that it's getting a little bit difficult to stay in the balance, you can just come down. Feel the difference in both legs, in both feet, in both hips, in both knees. Feel how your weight is going to make you move. And just try to feel what's happening with your breathing. Compare left side and right side. And try to compare all the time left side and right side when we do exercise asymmetrically. So to go to the other side, you just need to do the same thing, you push yourself with your left heel towards the right heel, and then you push your right big toe on the floor. And once your pelvis is in the axis of your foot, the axis of your pelvis is on the axis of the foot, then all your weight is on your foot. And you can lift the other one because it doesn't carry any more weight. You can just put it here if you want. You can put it there also. But I find if you put it in the inside, as in Vrksasana, it's more interesting for opening the hip. And you put it really in the inside of your thigh. Try to keep your pelvis or horizontal always and facing front. Stay on your heel, don't block your knee. We can just try to come in full Vrksasana by bringing the palms up and creating a traction between the arms by interlocking the thumbs. It's like I want to bring my arms both sides, but my thumbs stop me, and this creates some space between the arms and the neck. And you stay on your heel always. There is always one side that is easier than the other one. Try to stay more in this side. And just let the alignment come to you. Try to connect your heel on the floor with the crown of the head, and even with your fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. Keep your shoulders down. Try to bring the elbows a little bit higher, but pay attention to your rib cage. Doesn't have to come towards the front. Your rib cage stays in its initial position of Tadasana. And you stay there. You stabilize your posture. You give it time to find stability, and you give it time as well to tonify your leg. And you try to stay there. Find balance in your leg. Don't block your knee. Pay attention always to your knees. Once you feel it's all right, you can just come down. You let your hands go, both sides, and you put the other leg in the same level to compare where the weight is going. So you just compare how your legs are positioned, how your heels take your weight, bring it to the floor. Little bit of imbalance that comes from this, and the balance comes after it. And you stay there. Just compare what's happening. We are going to bring the legs 1 meter of distance. We bring them apart. And we just start by being on the heels. We push the big toes on the floor. We want to bring the weight in the exterior of the heels. And like that, we can just be stable here and prepare a little bit our ankles for the warrior first. We are going to Virabhadasana 2. No, Virabhadasana 1, normally, as Iyengar calls them. For Virabhadasana 1, we have an external rotation to work in both legs, and we have to do this gradually. So once you feel your ankles are a little bit more stretched, we are going to turn 90 degrees the foot. The other one is going to just come a little bit towards the inside, and we are going to lift our heel in the other leg and put the heel a little bit more towards the inside. And next thing we are going to do, we are going to create balance between the two heels. Bring the weight in both heels and bring the pelvis towards facing front and horizontal. And already being there, we are working external rotation in both legs. And we are going to bring our hands both sides. With time, we are going to have more space between both feet, and we are going to be more flexed in the front knee. But you can have a little less of distance for now. Try to bring your weight only on your heels and don't block your back leg. Little birds are eating in my window. Hey. Try to stay in balance in your heels. Feel what's happening with your breathing. Do you have a breath that comes really deep in your lungs, or only here? And try to feel how also your shoulders are positioned, if you have let your shoulders down, or if you are holding your shoulders with your neck muscles. And then you come in the middle and you come in the other side, 90 degrees, and then you lift your heel, you bring it towards the front a little bit. The other heel, you can let it come a little bit more towards the exterior, and you try to find balance in your pelvis. Try to stay on your heels, stay there. You can also bring your arms in Namastasana Keeping your elbows close to each other, you push in your hands. You want to create space between your shoulders, and you are going to come down, and it's really slowly that your elbows are going to come apart one another. Stay on your heels. Try to bring your pelvis in an horizontal position and facing front. And you let the weight of your arms and shoulders on your palms. And you stay there. Feel what's happening with your breathing. I should bring this really horizontally. Stay always in the heels. Try to connect the heels with the crown of your head. And with time, you are going to have more flexion in your knee. Stay on your heels. And then you come in the middle, and we are going in a forward bend, Ardha Padmasana. We are going padottanasana. We are going to just bend towards the front, but it's only the pelvis that comes towards the back and makes us bend. All right. So it's nothing like this. Nothing like this. I'm not going to bend in my back. I'm going to bend in my hips. So I will come on the mat, stay on my heels, and I'm going to try to just let my pelvis come towards the back, always keeping here in the basis of my back. My lumbar lordosis is really small and not in the upper back, very low in the lumbar zone. Stay on your heels. Even if it's only this, it's all right. You keep your belly free, you keep your respiration free. And even if it doesn't come really low, important is to keep your back in the good position. And it is going to come lower and lower with time. You don't need to go further than you should. You stay there. If it's all right, it's not a problem. We can normally come by here with some time, not so much time. So I restart. You can hold yourself on your knees, on your hips, or on a brick. If you have a brick, you bring a brick in front of you and you can hold yourself on a brick. And you stay there. Try to just let your all the weight on your heels. You let all your weight on your heels and you try to push your heels towards the floor. So push your heels towards the floor to unbend your knees, and it's a little thing. It's very, very small. It's an action. It's not a movement. It doesn't unbend more the knees. It's just the action to want to unbend the knees. Then you stay there. You just try to bring always a little bit more of balance. Compare both heels. If you have the same weight, or it's more in one heel and less in the other one, you just compare. Try to bring your pelvis horizontal. Even if you don't see it here, you can see the two bones in the front of the pelvis, and you find if they are horizontal, and you leave them in the horizontal position. It's these two bones in the front. If you touch here, you have two bones. You can feel two bones. If you see in the camera that maybe I'm not very horizontal, it's because of the optics. It's not because I'm not horizontal. I should be more in the axis of the camera, but it's not very easy. And you stay there. Once you feel that this flexion is relatively easy, you can, if you want, go further and further, and it's going to be alright. It's not a problem for your back. It's just a hip flexion. And then we are going to do another exercise, really important. And you are going to need ropes for it. So you bring two ropes. It's Supta Padangustasana. So I have one that is quite long. But it's not going to be enough one. And at least I have to just fix it well. So this is it. Well, you will excuse me a little bit. I let you some time to find your ropes. So it's this kind of rope. We need one of this with this thing. And another one, just any rope, it will do. And this we are going to measure. We are going to be lying on the floor, and we are going to measure the distance between the hip and the foot. And we are just going to bring this rope in the upper side of the hip, and the foot is going to hold it down. And with the other rope, I will have to attach my foot and just keep it there. But if I want, I can also do this the same way, by putting the rope on the lower side of my heel, of my foot, and I can be there. So the first part of the exercise is just bringing my foot towards me. I don't block my knees. All I want to do is just bring my foot towards me, and the rope in my hip wants to bring it down. So what I'm doing, I'm resisting to what the rope is doing. And I can't help myself with the other rope. Just to bring my leg in the vertical position. And I'm going to start counting by there. I'm going to stay with the same action. And I give time to my hip to bring more space in my hip joint. So in this position, what I'm doing, I am pushing my heels away from me to unbend my knees, and I am pushing the big toes away from me to create an internal rotation in my hips. It is a little action that activates the interior of your thighs. And you stay there in Supta Padangustasana. You don't need for the moment to do more than this. You just grab your rope and you stay there for the moment. Both ropes are going to work for you. Don't block your elbow, it's all right. And you take some time there. And what we are going to do next is we are going to bring our foot towards the exterior. Now I think I am too close to the wall to come really down, but it's not necessary to come down. You can just stop there. You can stop there, but what we do normally, if I come towards you, so if I do it like this here, what I am going to do is try to be stable and maybe help myself with a brick and try to just bring my foot towards the exterior without turning my pelvis. So the action here is only wanting to come down, holding my pelvis in a horizontal position, and come down slowly. So this is what I am doing. I am coming down slowly. I am resisting to the gravity, and the other rope is creating space to my hip. And I try to come down, but I resist the gravity. And I'm going to stay there. It's really slowly that this works best. If you want, you can also put the speed of this video in lower speed than this, and you stay more in the posture. I would recommend you to do it sometimes, even if this can feel like it's really slow. It isn't. So if I was standing up, I would do the same thing, bring my leg towards the exterior, keeping my both legs really active, straight, trying to push my heels on the floor and trying to push my big toes away from me. And if you keep your pelvis really horizontal. It's not really easy for me, but because I don't have a block now, I only have a brick. So if you just try to keep your pelvis horizontal, it's a lot more work for the hip joint. And you keep pushing your heels away from you. Don't block your knees. And then we come up and we go in the other side. So in the other side, it's the same thing. I try to descend and I try to come down really slowly. And for the moment, I don't want to turn my pelvis. I just want to bring my leg towards the other side, and it's all. I don't want more from this thing. Supta Padangustasana normally is sensed to be really down, but we are going to stay there. We keep the pelvis horizontal. We resist the descending. We just stop there. You feel a lot of work in your hip. You feel a lot of stretching in the outside of your hip. And then you can come up and change your leg. And already feel what's happening in both legs. Feel what's happening in both sides. How do your hips react? How do your feet react? And then you will change your leg. So you put the rope in the other foot and in the other hip. Over the hip. Keep the same length. Try to stabilize this. It has to be really tight. So my leg can pull my hip towards the back, towards the floor. And with the other leg, I'm going to bring my leg towards the ceiling in the beginning, so I start there. And then when I start facing the reaction of the rope, the resistance of the rope, I will help myself with the other rope. So I can bring my heel towards the ceiling more and more. And it is going to be really slow. Feel what's happening in your heel. Feel what's happening in the inner side of your hip, and also in the down side of the hip, in the lower side. I have to remember my English little by little. I will do. And you try to bring your foot vertically over your hip. Try to bring your leg really vertical. This means you need to stretch the back side of your leg also. Don't contract anything in your belly, don't contract anything in your respiration as well. And we are going to start coming down. So I'm going to do it a little bit faster than I should. So we come down really slowly, we resist We resist, we resist. I don't want my leg to come down very fast. I held myself with the rope and I just descend really slowly. With my other leg, I want to bring my hip very low towards my leg. Don't block your knees at any moment. Just try to come down. And it doesn't matter how much you come down. Just feel here when it is necessary to stop. In your adductors, you feel if it doesn't want to go lower, it's because this is short. So you don't have to go lower. It's all right to stop where your body tells you. Not only it's all right, it should be like this. And you push your big toe away from you and you push your heel away from you to unbend your knee and not to block your knee. And then we are going to come up again. So this is, I did it a little bit faster. And you come in the other side, always trying to keep your leg unbent in your knee, really straight. You push both heels. You push both heels away from you, and you continue. You descend, but you don't want to bring all your pelvis in a rotation with your hip. It's mostly the hip. And you stay there to feel what's happening with the work in your hip. You want to, muscularly, you want to bring your foot vertically up, but it's gravity that brings you down. So you stay there. You take a nap. So the activity here is to bring yourself towards the ceiling, to bring your foot towards the ceiling, and the gravity doesn't let you. This is the activity. As here, we have the same activity. I want to bring my foot towards the ceiling, but gravity doesn't let me. Then I will release both. So we don't need to keep both legs here. And you are going to need a little towel that you can roll. Small towel of your kitchen, for example. So here I have a towel. So you can roll it, make a sausage. Small, it can be small, it can be more than this. This is really perfect, I think. I didn't know, it's the first time I do it. Usually I use this. This is for swimming pools. See what it is? I cut some of this. And we are going to put it here. It's where I told you before. I will show you again. Well, we have a pelvis. And we have two bones that come right here. And we have a space between these two muscles. This we should keep it always. And this we are going to put it really over these 2 points. If you don't feel that you have these two little gaps, you feel that under here there is a point, there is a small bone that you can see. So this is the two bones, and then you put it right here, and we are going to be lying down. So I will bring this with me, lying down, and we are going to put the buttocks on the wall. So if I come really close to the wall, then I put this behind these little bones I told you. And first thing, you should just try to bring your knees towards you. It's another exercise. You bring your knees towards you. You try to flex your hips without blocking your knees. And what we are going to do is we are going to bring both legs in both sides. So we can do it really slowly. Normally we should do it slowly. Your arms, you can just put them behind you. And you try to push your big toes towards the ceiling and to push your heels towards the ceiling. And you come down really slowly both sides. If you cannot unbend your knees in this position, you can come a little bit further on the wall. It's all right. You don't have your buttocks on the wall, but you are not very close to the wall. It's this. So you try to be close to the wall, but it's a question of extension in these muscles. If I don't have this extension, I show you again. If I don't have this extension, it's not a problem, because I can do the exercise being here, but I have my knees straight. I unbend. I don't bend my knees, and I come down both sides. So this is going to be something that will evolve, and we are going to bring the buttocks on the wall finally. For the moment, I am going to do it with my legs on the wall, and I'm going to come back both sides. So it's the same action. I want to bring my legs towards me to flex more my hips, and I come down really slowly, and it's only my hips that are working here to flex. Don't try to block your knees. Here it's really difficult to block your knees. This is very interesting as a position, because it prepares sitting, and it prepares sitting in a really good posture of your back. And you come down really slowly, it's all right. From time to time you try to bring your knees towards you, and you can descend. Try to be symmetrical. You can stop in any moment. It's not necessary to come really down. And you stop where it can stop. And always try to bring a little bit of flexion of your hips. And we are going to stop here. I'm going to stay for a little bit. So you can stay like this and try to imagine yourself like the wall was the floor and the floor was the wall. Your back is straight, you are sitting on the floor, you are preparing Uppavista Konasana. The turtle pose, which normally means that I should also come towards the floor, but I don't have gravity that helps me. I only have my hip flexion that can help me, but it's not necessary anyway, because I don't have enough weight on my legs to bring me up if I want to come up. And you stay there. You just give time to your adductors to stretch very slowly. If you feel you have enough work in here, we can try to bend the knees and bring the feet on the floor. And this is going to be really slow. So if I bend my knees, I need more flexion in my hips. So I bend my knees, I can bring my feet a little bit higher. And I try to keep the big toes on the floor, on the wall. If I am in this position where I have both heels and the big toes on the floor, I can stay here a little bit more. Imagine yourself sitting on the floor with your legs apart like this, and your back is really stable and erect and long. Yes, long. Feel what's happening in your breathing. It's really easy here to imagine yourself like in a rotation of 90 degrees. And then you can try to bring your feet really slowly. In Baddha Konasana, so I walk my way towards the middle, and I can stop from time to time to feel what's happening in my hips, in my legs. And at the same time, you imagine all the time if you like you were seated on the floor. And your back is on the wall. And you come closer and closer a little bit. And down. And you can stop there. This is really beneficial for pregnant women. I think here about my friend who is pregnant, so I want to give her some exercise as well. And this is why I started English lessons, but not only. I should have started English lessons even before. So you come down and you come towards the middle little by little, and you try to bring your knees in a symmetric opening. And once you feel you can come down towards Baddha Konasana, push your heels on the floor, push your big toes on the floor. Give time to your hips flex more. and you can come towards Baddha Konasana. You put both feet on the wall, and then you will come and put the feet towards each other and push the side of your feet in the wall to bring more flexion in your hip. Push your big toes, both big toes are in this action of pushing one another. And you continue, if you want, you continue to push the wall with the sides of your feet. So this is a Baddha Konasana that is not going to harm your back. And you stay there. Give time to the hips to open. You can come lower if you want. And push the feet towards each other and push the wall with your feet. Don't try to push your knees towards the wall. Don't try to push your hips towards the wall. This is going to come little by little. So even if you stop here, it's all right. And I think it's okay for the moment to stay here. We could have added one more exercise, which is Ardha Padmasana, in an external rotation of your foot, and then you try to do a flexion in the other one, but it's not necessary. We are okay for today. To come down, we are going to just roll in the side. Remove your towel behind your back and come in Savasana. I have pushed my carpet away from the wall. And you come in Savasana to feel the benefits of this practice for your body. Grab your big toes, one with the other, and you create a tension between them to bring an internal rotation in the hips. And with your hands, you grab your mat and you want to stretch your mat. And you release everything and you are in Savasana. So enjoy Savasana. And see you soon. So I would really recommend you to repeat the videos, to repeat the practice. This is going to make you evolve, so you can continue with the next videos. In fact, if you don't repeat, if you don't practice every day, maybe, or even 3 or 4 times a week, maybe you shouldn't continue with the next video. You should just repeat long enough so it's going to evolve, and once you see you do things easily, you can go to the next video. But however, in my opinion, you can try anyway. The next video. Maybe for you it's easy, and maybe you are someone that does a lot of exercise, so it's all right. And what else? That's all. So see you soon.